Kind of come full circle to say that maybe things need to move a little more quickly, and that things have improved more quickly than health officials have kind of let on at this point.
Well, good morning, Becky. It's good to see you. I think there's a lot of good news out there, and I think that people need to hear that good news right now. People have an entirely distorted perception of risk. Remember, COVID now has a different case fatality rate because it's circulating in a much younger population, in a population where the case fatality rate for COVID is now similar to that of seasonal flu. In the past, comparisons were not fair, but now we're seeing a similar case fatality rate, and 1/50th the number of cases of flu on a daily basis compared to a mild flu season. Right now, we've got 1/50th the number of daily cases of this virus. So people have a distorted perception of risk. They need to be careful if they're unvaccinated and not had the infection. They need to be careful if they're unvaccinated and not had the infection. But we need to move on at some point.
So would you not encourage younger populations to go out and get vaccinated? Do you think it's not a risk and not something you would tell people to do? Because we are seeing vaccinations drop off incredibly rapidly.
Well, I think people need to recognize that there are two reasons to get vaccinated. One is to prevent death from COVID, which in healthy kids is so exceptionally rare, it would be considered a case report. And as a matter of fact, there's never been a documented case of a young, healthy person dying of COVID. And we've done some of that research at Johns Hopkins. All the children that have been examined in half the nation's health insurance data have had a comorbidity. So if they have any pre-existing condition, get the vaccine. Otherwise, the reason to get it, the case to get it is there. It's just not compelling. And the reason to get it is to prevent the multi-system inflammatory syndrome, which has affected 4,000 kids in the United States so far.
The other reason to get it is to protect other people that you could come in contact with, even if it doesn't affect the kids as much. What about if you come in contact with grandparents or someone who has an immune compromised situation? I mean, Marty, that's pretty different than what they are telling people right now. Are you okay with the drop-off we've seen? You think that this is not a big deal? Or you also said, look out for the fall. What do we do to brace ourselves for the fall that we haven't already done?
Yeah, very good point, Becky. Well, first of all, about 86% of seniors in the United States have had the vaccine, and about half of the unvaccinated have natural immunity from prior infection. So we've done a really good job protecting. If children are around anyone who is not vaccinated and has not had the infection, then it's important for them to get vaccinated.
If children are around teachers and school administrators who have gotten vaccinated, is that not a big deal either? I mean, we know that the vaccines aren't perfect. But they have been very good at preventing death and incredible sickness.
Yeah, the case is there, but I would say it's not compelling for a healthy kid. Remember, most of the folks they're in contact with are already immune. And I think we need to recognize that everyone's got to make their own individual risk, and we need to push things hard when we see a very strong survival benefit. And in young, healthy kids, I think the case is there. It's just not overwhelming.